Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing some really fun wood projects. I'm so excited to show you. If you're new here, my name is Bri. I'm the owner and artist of Upcycled by Bri, and I love to go thrifting and garage sailing. I take my finds and I upcycle them into beautiful home decor. If you haven't yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the thumbs up, and let's get started. For my first project today, I am using this little hand broom that I thrifted for $2.99 at the Giving Tree. Now, they were running a sale that day. I think I got 30% off of this. It's not super old. I have a little trick that I'm going to use to antique it a bit, but I am actually going to add it on to this piece of wood to make a fun display. I made this beautiful custom blend of aviary and crinoline, both by the DIY paint line, and it made this gorgeous sagey green. I'm using the smoothie brush here. It'll give a quick coverage coat to this little wood round, and then we will attach the hand broom. So I took my heat gun and pointed it at the bristles and got a couple of them all crazy and wiry just to give it an older antiqued look. It was a fun little way to mess those up. Now I'm going to take a little bit of my DIY decrepit dust, which is just like literally like a crafting dirt. It's a powder form here, and I've got a little artist brush, and I'm just gonna rub it into this raw wood. I don't have any wax or anything else on the wood. I'm just gonna take this brush and push it down into the wood grain. And you'll see that's gonna give parts of that brush a more antiqued look. Let's put some here on the handle, like where people would have been holding it and gotten it dirtier with their hands over time. I'm also gonna take some of the dust and rub it into these bristles. The bristles are a little yellow. I prefer them to look a little more beat up. My wood round already has a hole in it through the bottom all the way through, so that's great. I am gonna take a drill bit here and put a pilot hole into the broom. To seal up the green paint, I've got a little bit of DIY clear wax, hands down my very favorite wax. Nice even coat on our green paint. You'll see that the paint darkens a little bit. As it dries, it will lighten back up. Just the nature of the clay-based paint. So I had to run and grab boxes from the Giving Tree, and I just found this one. Same price, $2.99. I used the decrepit dust all over this brush to get the wood a little bit darker to match the base. Here you can see how quickly those bristles will melt back a bit if I just point the heat gun at them, and it makes the brush look so much older. I'm drilling a pilot hole through the base of the wood so I can put a screw up through the bottom and attach into the spindle handle. Using a larger bit here, I drilled the beginnings of a hole, and I'm gonna screw that on to the existing screw that was already in that spindle. And here is a look at the final display brushes. I am absolutely in love with this idea, and of course you could display an old picture, a business card. The possibilities are endless. Drop me a comment below. Let me know, what would you display in these brushes? I priced them at $22.95 once they were all complete. For my next project, I have these wooden items that came again out of that huge wooden haul from the estate clean out. Were these what, like pencil holders or something? They are raw wood, but they're not the prettiest wood, so we're gonna give them some chippy milk paint and turn them into floral arrangements. I'm gonna start with a little of the crackle medium. I'm using a chip brush, and to get a smaller, thinner crackle, I'm going to do a very, very thin layer of this. I'm gonna spread it out on here as much as I can. I let the crackle medium dry up for about an hour, and now I have grabbed my Sweet Pickins milk paint in the color Basil. I'm starting with a 1/4 cup of warm water, then I add a 1/4 cup of my paint powder and mix it for a couple of minutes. I let it sit for about 10 minutes after I mix it, and it should be a runny milkshake-like consistency. I'm using one of my Klingon brushes to paint these wood pieces because they are super easy to clean. After I'm done painting, I'll go drop this brush in a cup of water, let it sit overnight, and the next morning when I go to rinse it, that milk paint will just fall out of the bristles. I love this basil color. I'm going to give each of these pieces one nice coat of paint. That crackle from the crackle medium. Now, this is the first time using it on raw wood. Next time I think I'll do a bit of a thicker coat, but I didn't want the crackle to be too large. Now I've got my orbital sander with some 220 grit sandpaper, and I am just going to smooth back any lumps in my paint and distress these pieces. I grabbed a couple other little random wood candlesticks from my stash, painted them up in DIY faded burlap to complete this set of 5, and now we'll seal everything up with some clear beeswax. This is the Sweet Pickins clear wax. I do love it as well. It's not quite as soft as the DIY wax, but still very easy to apply, as you see here. I just have a little on a paper towel, and I am applying it over that dry milk paint. The wax smells really great as well, like citrus, and it is really awesome over raw wood as well. So if you have an old dresser with some drawers that need to be refreshed, this wax is amazing. I'm going to be adding in some floral to these holes in my wood pieces. I think they're going to make some cute floral arrangements. Now, these flowers I got off of Temu. I did a Temu haul recently. If you missed that, be sure to go back and watch. It was so much fun to review, and I'm actually really digging their florals. The bouquets are a little bit smaller, so they work really well for these smaller thrift flip projects. About these little handmade cloches all the time, but I figured I would do a quick tutorial for my newer viewers. So I thrift these little votive holders all the time for around $1 to $2, and then I cut these wooden round bases out of old fence wood. I call this a mini cloche, and they sell really well for me. They're so fun to style up in a quick, inexpensive project if you have a booth or are a reseller. After my wood round is cut, I use some 60 grit sandpaper just to smooth out any imperfections in my circle. Help my raw edge cuts blend in with this weathered cedar. I have got some Sweet Pickins grit. This is a lot like the Decrepit Dust. This is by the Sweet Pickins line, and it is more of a gray color, so it works really well with the weathered wood. And again, I'm just going straight on to the wood grain with the dust. I haven't applied any wax or anything else, and it just sits down beautifully into that wood grain. You can see the difference here. That edge looks much more weathered and blended. Leave me a comment, let me know if y'all are going to try this idea out. Now look how cute they come out, and again, just a few minutes on this project and they are complete and ready to go. I list these up for around $16.95. It was a really close runner-up for my favorite. So I grabbed these 3 pieces of hardware at a garage sale recently. They were all 3 together in a little coffee can, so I thought I would keep them together. And this piece of wood is an old piece of wood off of a door that I ended up cutting up to salvage. I've got some D-rings here. I just ordered these off of Amazon, and we're gonna make a little hanging shelf. After I attach the D-rings to the back, I'm going to just eyeball the placement of my handle and my hardware. These old imperfect pieces were never exactly right anyway. I use my drill and make a pilot hole and then simply hand screw in the hooks. They had a threaded screw attached to them already. When I take apart old pieces, I always keep the screws for salvage projects like this. That paint seemed to match the handle about perfectly. I made pilot holes through the screw holes of the handle, and now I am just screwing on those salvage screws. That simple, y'all. I did take a little bit of DIY beadboard and just painted the edges. I didn't even seal the edges of this. After 30 days, that paint is gonna cure so hard it's not going anywhere. And here's a look at the final project. Again, another 10-15 minute project with a super high-end look. What do y'all think about this one? For this project, I have grabbed a piece of salvage wood. I painted it in that same green basil color. When I sanded it back, it popped a little bit of old red paint through, which I thought was gorgeous. And then I grabbed 2 pieces out of my metal stash, an old piece from a doorknob, and this little round metal piece I believe was part of a kitchen strainer. Again, I have just placed them and eyeballed the placement, and now I'm going to make some pilot holes down through my metal salvage to make marks for my screws. I absolutely love that today's wood projects are very beginner friendly. Drop me a comment down below. Let me know what other kind of wood projects y'all would like to see. But how cute did this simple project come out? I added a little bit of Spanish moss and a couple of eggs for a fun little salvaged wall piece of decor. Last project today, I've got a little wood round, a sphere that is flat on the bottom, and I'm going to be using some of my DIY Dark and Decrepit to stain them up. A little wood glue and tape them down first to get them to stay together. The Dark and Decrepit is an all-in-one product. It has a built-in sealer, so it is an all-natural stain you can use indoors, and look how beautifully dark it makes this raw wood. Again, a pilot hole down through my little mini tin and into my wood round to make drilling the screw in a lot easier. I just love how quick and easy all of today's projects were. Drop me a comment down below. Let me know which one you are going to try and which one was your favorite. If you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any new woods videos, and send this over to a friend who you think may like it as well. Till next time, I'll see y'all later. Bye, friends.